Alright guys, this is a quick tutorial here to start off the evolution of a block part 1. I'm going to run through this, that way you guys can come back here and find it any time. I'm going to take you through sketching environment units, or setting the environment units, sketching a rectangle, extruding a rectangle, sketching a circle, extruding a circle, dimensioning, and best practice pro tip, the center rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and begin here. I have a new file. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the settings in my document. And I'm going to go ahead and click that drop down, and I'm going to come over here and make sure that that is indeed in units. Mine's already in inches, so I'm okay. If I want to set it up to permanently do that, I'm going to come up here where it says my initials. I'm going to click that. I'm going to go to Preferences, and it's going to pop up here in a second. It took me a second. And I'm going to come down here to Default Units. Underneath the Default Units, I'm going to go to Design, and I'm going to make sure that says inches. I can set that to whatever I want it to be, but I want it to be inches. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and begin. So I'm going to first sketch a rectangle. I'm going to come up here to Create Sketch, top left. I'm going to left click on it. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to choose my XY plane to draw on. I'm going to use a rectangle, so there's a bunch of things I can use to sketch up here. I'm going to use a 2-point rectangle to start. I'm going to left click on that. I'm going to come and I'm going to set my bottom left corner at the origin. You don't need to do that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag it up. Now I'm going to go ahead and start putting in units as I do that. And I have not left clicked to finish my triangle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type 1.252 tab 1.252 and then hit enter. And that has made a rectangle that is exactly 1.252 by 1.252 inches. I'm now going to hit Finish Sketch, and then I'm going to extrude that. And I'm going to extrude it up, and I'm going to go ahead and set it to 0.756 inches. And that gives me the beginnings of a Lego block. Certainly that's not the only way to do it. I find that is the quickest way to do it. If I wanted to go back and redimension, I could go down to my history down here, and I could double click with my left button, and I can change that to whatever I want it to be. If say I wanted that to be 2, it would be 2. I want it to be 1.252. So I can use this dimension tool to do whatever I want and make that the size. But I'm going to go ahead and go back to the finished sketch, and you'll see here it'll stay the same. So I've sketched a rectangle and I've extruded it. I'm now going to sketch a circle on there. I'm going to come back up here and create sketch. I'm going to create a sketch. Rather than choosing one of these planes, I'm going to choose the top of my block. I'm going to go ahead and put a circle on here. Now I can just type what I want it to be, and in fact I want it to be 0.371. Hit enter. I'm now going to zoom in a little bit and show you how I position this. I'm going to come up here to dimension, and I'm going to click on this line and then the center of that circle, and I want that distance to be 0.309. Hit enter, and then I'm going to click on this line and then click on the center of the circle, and I want that to be 0.309. Hit enter. I'm going to go ahead and hit finish sketch, and then I'm going to go up here to the navigation cube. I'm going to hit the home button so it gives me a little bit of a different view. Zooming in and zooming out by using the trackball on my mouse. That's something you'll have to practice. I'm going to go ahead and hit extrude, which is this button. I'm going to come down here until the circle's highlighted, and then I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to pull that up a distance of, oh, that's a good question. I'm just going to make it 0.2 today. And I now have a block coming up there. Now, the question is, do I want to draw that circle 4 times? Perhaps I do. I'll sketch, and then I'll click on that, and I can put another circle here, and that can be 0.371. I would then click that, and that'll be that'll be 0.309. and the distance from this line to that line would be 0.309. Hit enter, and I could indeed extrude that up and hit OK. And I can obviously do that for floor objects. Now, the thing is, I'm inherently lazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and show you a best practice. Okay, I'm going to start a completely new file, and show you how I'd actually do this. Okay, so I'm going to give you a pro tip, which is the center rectangle. And you'll see why I do that here in a moment. I'm going to create a sketch. I'm going to come here. Now, on this, I'm going to click the rectangle, but rather than using the default 2-point rectangle, I'm going to use the center rectangle. I'm going to put the center at the origin, and then I'm going to type 1.252 tab 1.252 and hit enter. And what that has done is that has made a block. The center is at the origin, and it is 1.252 by 1.252. I'm then going to extrude this 0.756, hit enter. I'm now going to sketch my circle. The circle goes on here, and that circle is going to be 0.371 in diameter. And I'm going to have to position it one time. And so I will dimension. I'll tell that to be 0.309. And I'm going to tell this distance from that line to the center of the circle. I'm going to tell that to be 0.309. Hit enter. And then I'm not going to finish my sketch. Instead, I'm going to come up here to the Create drop-down menu, and I'm going to create a circular pattern. I'm going to select my object to be patterned. I'm going to select the center point, which I'm going to make the origin, and then it's going to be full angular spacing, and I want 4 of them. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Now, you can see what has happened is it is perfectly positioned, all 4. I've just simply used the idea of symmetry, which is certainly an applicable thing. I'm going to go ahead and hit Finish Sketch. And now when I go to extrude, I'm going to click on that, and that, and I will extrude them all to 0.2 inches. Now, when we go to put these blocks in there, a nice feature, I'm going to go ahead and give you an extra tip, and that is going to be to put a chamfer in, because we got to fit this in. Sometimes it's helpful if I click on this, if I right click on that, and then hit chamfer. I'm going to go ahead and put a small chamfer on that of 0.05 and hit OK. And I'll go around, I'll right click on that edge right there and chamfer that just in 0.05. I'm going to chamfer this one in at 0.05 and this one. So let me go ahead and right click. Chamfer at 0.05. This is not necessarily how Lego does it, but I find that it makes it much easier to slide in. So there's a first relatively precise creation. It's just practicing the idea of sketching something, extruding it, starting to give something size, relative size and dimension. And this would be a functional Lego product. At this point, I can export it to the 3D printer, and this will actually fit in and serve as a working Lego block for me.